The Fender Stratocaster, one of the most, if not arguably the most, recognizable and iconic guitar models and body shapes ever produced. Ever since it was first introduced in 1954, it has changed the course of music history numerous times over and is forever immortalized as one of the quintessential symbols of rock music. Numerous rock pioneers left their mark on history while having a Stratocaster in their hands. A few notable names include, but are not limited to, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Buddy Holly, David Gilmour, Stevie Ray Vaughan, George Harrison, and Tom Petty, just to name a few. When looking at the 90s specifically, two legendary Stratocasters come to mind, and an argument could be made either way as to which is the most iconic. While Kurt Cobain is mostly associated with his Jaguar and Mustangs, he played Stratocasters just as much as he played his offsets. Of the many Stratocasters he took on stage, I don't think anyone would disagree. This black-on-black Stratocaster is not only the Strat that is most associated with Cobain, but is one of the most recognizable Strats of all time. 33 years ago today, on August 23, 1991, Nirvana played the Reading Festival in the UK for the first time. They went on in the middle of the day, far from being the headliner at the time, but they were literally just 1 month away from releasing an album that would change everything. This show is a favorite among the diehards. It's widely regarded as one of their best, and is one of the early dominoes that would eventually lead to Nirvana taking over the world. Nirvana played 12 songs at this show, and for 11 of those, Kurt used the black-on-black Stratocaster that has been appropriately nicknamed the Vandalism Strat. In this video, we will be breaking down and looking at the history and many forms of the legendary Vandalism Strat. I will also be presenting my newest guitar, which is a one-for-one, time period accurate replica build of the Vandalism Strat as it was at the Reading Festival in the summer of 1991. The story starts in May of 1991 at Sound City Studios in Los Angeles, California, where Nirvana were recording what would become their breakthrough album, Nevermind. While recording Lithium, the band was struggling to keep time as Dave Grohl kept speeding up when the chorus hit. After many failed takes, the band frustratingly launched into a volcanic jam that would go on to be the album's hidden track, Endless Nameless. Kurt was so upset during this jam that he smashed his guitar in studio while recording. We have this brilliant image of the guitar he broke during the recording on top of the soundboard. This specific Stratocaster would later go on to be repaired and become known as the Tom Strat, due to its unusual two-pneumatic bridge and stop tailpiece setup. But before it became that, it was a Stratocaster with an angled mystery humbucker, one of Kurt's most used guitars at the time, and a guitar that we have photo proof of being used on Nevermind. Nirvana guitar tech Ernie Bailey recently resolved a much-debated Nirvana gear mystery when he confirmed to me that this guitar, while at Sound City, had a Seymour Duncan 59N humbucker in the bridge position. He went on to share with me that he believes the Vandalism Stratocaster was acquired as a replacement for this broken Strat to finish the album. He believes that same pickup, the 59N, was purchased for the replacement Strat as presumably Kurt really liked the sound of this Nevermind Strat. With this, we have enough reason to safely speculate that the Vandalism Strat is on Nevermind to some capacity. Currently, the first time we have visual documentation of it is at Nirvana's show on June 10th, 1991 at the Gothic Theater in Colorado. This is 2 weeks after the end of the Nevermind Sessions and the third show they played after finishing the album. Here, we see it in its first form and presumably the form it was in at Sound City. It is a Japanese ST362 Fender Stratocaster that is made out of mahogany. We know the type of wood thanks to Ernie, and we know the exact model name thanks to Brian, the man responsible for the brilliant website kurtsequipment.com. He posted this photo of a piece of the original neck butt from the Vandalism Strat. Interestingly, this model seems to have only come with a single-ply white pickguard. I don't have 100% confirmation on that, but when looking up stock versions of this model, I can only seem to find ones that have the single-ply pickguard. So, we can assume that the black 3-ply pickguard on Kurt's is not stock. That and the previously mentioned Seymour Duncan 59N humbucker in the bridge position are the only mods at this point in time. It also looks like the pickguard was routed for the humbucker, as the two original single-coil screw holes are visible. It's got its stock Fender neck and stock Stratocaster single coils in the neck and middle position. It is also missing its backplate. This is how we see it throughout June 91, while Nirvana is opening up for Dinosaur Jr. on a West Coast club tour. They didn't play any shows that July, but on August 15th, 1991, they played a showcase for their record label and the media to create buzz about their soon-to-be-released second album. This took place at the Roxy in West Hollywood and is the first time we can see the memorable sticker in which the guitar gets its name from. In 1986, hardcore punk band The Feeders released their album Teachers in Space. Original copies of the album came with one of 12 collectible bumper stickers, with only 100 of each one being made. One version of these stickers reads, "Vandalism, beautiful as a rock in a cop's face, courtesy of Feeders, Office of Anti-Public Relations." That is the sticker that Kurt Cobain got in his copy of the album, and he put it on his black Strat sometime between June 20th and August 15th, 1991. These original stickers are paper, not vinyl like 99% of the modern-day reprinters sell. Kurt's original sticker went on to smear and tear with time and use, while a shiny vinyl sticker wouldn't do that. It would remain pristine and perfect. Another change that we see at this Roxy show is the lower tone knob is now missing. This will never be replaced. 5 days after this show, the band is now in the UK supporting Sonic Youth and playing select festival dates, including the previously mentioned Reading Festival on August 23rd. It's amazing to watch the crowd at the show react to Smells Like Teen Spirit, a song no one in the crowd had heard yet, but the video doesn't give you that impression. The song wouldn't be released as a single until September 10th, but it just goes to show the sheer power and magic of this generation-defining song. Nirvana had that audience in the palm of their hands, all while playing songs that hadn't been released yet. 2 days later, on August 25th, some of the most famous and well-known photos of Kurt playing the Vandalism Strat were taken at the Pukkelpop Festival in Belgium. As a side note, these are the first photos I sent to people when they try telling me that the Vandalism Strat is not a Fender guitar, but we'll get into that in detail later on. Of the footage that is currently available, the last time we see this neck is on August 29th in Germany. After this show, the Vandalism Strat mysteriously disappears for a while. Strange, as up until this point it had been Kurt's main live guitar. Based on this and the form we see it in next, we can speculate that it got smashed and the neck was destroyed at one of these two dates. We finally see it again nearly 2 months later on October 25th, 1991 at the Rock for Choice benefit in Hollywood. Here we see it in what is probably its most well-known form. Duct tape has been added to both strap pin ends, and there is now a replacement Fernandez neck. This is how it is 6 days later on Halloween 1991 when Nirvana played at the Paramount Theater in Seattle. Arguably one of their most popular shows, and the only Nirvana concert that was shot on film, so it's quite possibly the highest quality live footage that exists of the band. Thanks to that, we get plenty of brilliant, high-quality close-ups of the now battle-ridden Strat. It was smashed in the memorable and chaotic Endless Nameless finale. After that, we do not see the Fernandez neck again. The widespread misconception that this Stratocaster isn't a Fender but a Fernandez is thanks to this show. Shows like Reading 91 are more beloved among the diehards, but everyone and their grandma is familiar with Live at the Paramount. But in reality, We only have documentation of this guitar having this Fernandez neck for 6 days, whereas there is documentation of it having its stock Fender neck for over 2 months. After Paramount, it gets yet another neck. It appears a month later at another famous show, November 25th, 1991 at the Paradiso in Amsterdam. The tape on the upper horn has been removed, and it now has a blank Kramer replacement neck. 2 days later, Nirvana quote-unquote performs a memorable version of Smells Like Teen Spirit on Top of the Pops in the UK. The band were asked to mime along and lip-sync to the studio recording. They protested until the show compromised on the vocals being live but everything else being a backing track. The band made it painfully obvious that they weren't playing, and Kurt sang an octave lower than normal. He's not really playing it, but he's got the Vandalism Strat on and even censored the sticker for the occasion. This mighty guitar is played live for the final time on December 7th, 1991 in France. It is smashed presumably beyond repair since it is never seen again. But by this point, Kurt had just started using a black Hot Rail Strat, which was also used on December 7th. So we can also speculate that maybe Kurt was liking this Strat so much that he decided it wasn't worth having Vandalism repaired for a 4th time. This is a photo of 5 Strat bodies and various Strat necks on Ernie's workbench. As far as I could find, this was taken after December 91, which would make this the last photo of the Vandalism Strat while Nirvana was active. Not much is known about the whereabouts and ownership of this Strat after the end of Nirvana. It has been on display on and off at the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle in their amazing Nirvana exhibit. It has been put back together and present day has a Fender neck, bringing it full circle back to its beginnings. This neck actually has a connection to another Kurt Strat. This candy apple red Stratocaster is a 50s reissue that came with a maple neck. Ernie switched it out to a rosewood neck, and that's how Kurt played it on the Nudro tour. Ernie then traded the original maple neck at the Trading Musician in Seattle for a left-handed rosewood Stratocaster neck. The neck that he received in that trade is the neck that is on the Vandalism Strat present day. If we take a step back and look at the big picture, this guitar was only used for 6 months. June 91 to December 91. That is a relatively short window, especially considering it is one of the most well-known Kurt guitars, arguably on the same tier as Kurt's Jaguar and Competition Mustang, which were both in the picture for 3 years. It was at the forefront during a pivotal 6-month period, one that saw Nirvana leave Sound City as a largely little-known band playing midday festival slots, to the chaotic, overbooked, and legendary headlining Fall 91 club tour, where Nirvana was slowly taking the world by storm day by day until the levee finally broke in early 1992. From a live perspective, the Jaguar and Vandalism Strat are the centerpieces that represent this time period, so it's no wonder why this 6-month Strat is one of the most beloved and replicated Kurt Cobain guitars. The guitar that you've been hearing in the background of this video is my brand new Vandalism Strat build, which I believe is 1-for-1 and as close as I can get to Kurt's Vandalism Strat as it was in the summer of '91, particularly at the Reading Festival. This is technically my 3rd Vandalism Strat, but I've always wanted one modeled after the Reading '91 show because it's a top 3 show for me. I've always really loved that one. So ever since it became known that Kurt's Vandalism Strat was an ST362, I've been keeping an eye out for that model for around 2 years. And I was never able to find one for that good of a price. A black one usually runs around $900 to $1,300, but this one I scored on a good deal. I got it for $600, and it's a pretty funny story actually. With obsessively researching Kurt's Vandalism Strat, his VMA Strat, and his K Strat, I became really familiar with the differences between Japanese ST62s and ST362s. I was doing one of my routine searches for Japanese used Strats just to see what was out there. I found a listing on GuitarCenter.com for this guitar and it was completely stock. but they had it listed as an 80s contemporary Fender Stratocaster. I saw that one and it caught my eye right away because of the headstock. I saw that headstock and I was like, that's not a contemporary Strat. I'm 95% sure that that is an ST362. So I was like, my God, did Guitar Center mislabel this and put a really good deal on the 362? So I took my chances and purchased it with my fingers crossed, hoping that Guitar Center had mislabeled it. I never saw this guitar in its stock form. I knew that the body would have to be routed for a humbucker, which is way above my expertise and my experience, and I don't have the tools necessary to do that. So I had it shipped straight to my very good friend Jeff from Lomit Guitars. Jeff is a guitar wizard and has made multiple of my guitar dreams come true, so thank you so much, Jeff, for the work you put into this one. Jeff received it, took off the neck to look for the model stamp, and there it was. This was an ST362 that Guitar Center had mislabeled as a contemporary 80s Stratocaster, so I got a pretty good deal on it because they didn't actually know what they had. So, this is a made-in-Japan ST362 that was made in the Fujigen factory. I haven't been able to pin it down to an exact year, because when I look up the serial number, some places tell me it's a 1989, some places tell me it's a 90, and there's one spot that even listed it as an 89/90. So that's what I'm going with. This is either an 89 or a 90 MIJ. According to Kurt'sEquipment.com, Kurt's Vandalism Strat had an I serial number. If you try to look up his number, it also comes down to either an 89 or a 90. So I can't say it for certain, but there's that slight chance now that this is not only the same model, but it's the same run and the same year as Kurt's Vandalism Strat, which is really exciting. So Jeff received this guitar completely stock, so I have to give him a big shout out and give him all the credit for all the work that he did to make this 100% Kurt accurate. He routed the body for a bridge humbucker, and I purchased a vintage 90s Seymour Duncan 59N and had it shipped straight to him so he could install it. I asked him to swap out the aged single coil covers to new white ones. Normally, I do like that look of the aged white, but I want this to match Reading and those famous August 25th photos, and Kurt's pickups there are white, so I made that change because of that. Jeff installed a black 3-ply pickguard and added the bridge single coil screw holes just like Kurt's has. Funny enough, the 1-ply 8-hole pickguard that came stock on this guitar was actually perfect for the guitar behind me, my VMA Strat. If you've seen my recent video where I have it side by side with Kurt's actual VMA Strat, you'll remember that one of the few differences between the two was my pickguard was a little brighter because it's a brand new pickguard where Kurt's is 30 years old. Whereas now I have this 30-year-old ST362 pickguard on it, which isn't as bright and brings me just that much closer to being like Kurt's VMA Strat. So a really happy accident there that not only is this guitar accurate, but it came with a pickguard that I could put in my VMA Strat to make that one even more accurate. Jeff also changed out the string trees because what came stock did not look like what was on Kurt's. But funny enough, all the other 362s we have seen seem to come stock with these roller trees, so we can maybe speculate that even Kurt's are not stock. So this is how I received it from Jeff, pre-sticker, and man, it looks so good. I am a huge sucker for black on black and white on white Strats. And to be upfront, I hesitated for a little bit whether I wanted to put a sticker on it or not because it looked so good this way. But I decided to put the sticker on there because this sticker changes this guitar from wow, that's cool to wow, that is iconic. And I'm using a specific sticker too. This is a sticker from Chris Store. He's the only one I know of that makes these stickers out of paper just like the originals. I've had many Vandalism Strat stickers in the past and they're always vinyl, which is nice because they're shiny and you can't really damage them. But if you're trying to get something really accurate that will age with time like Kurt's did, you have to get a paper sticker. And Chris Store is the place where you can get that, the most accurate Vandalism Strat stickers. I've been proudly partnering with Chris for a long time now, and if you use my coupon code Nirvana Guitars, you can get 2 for the price of 1 on his Vandalism Strat stickers. He offers them in clean and road-worn editions. I have his clean version on mine, and I can't recommend it enough. I purposely don't have the last tone knob on there, so it can be just like Ready 91. The volume knob, the tone knob, and the black switch tip are still there at that point. By Paramount, the switch tip is gone, but it's there at Reading, which is why I have it on mine. The only part that is not historically accurate on mine is I did put strap locks. Kinda hard to tell, but by pictures, it looks like Kurt didn't even bother with strap locks on his Vandalism Strat. It just looks like his strap is through the normal strap pin. And I'm all for accuracy, but I want strap locks, safety first. I don't want this to fall off of me while I'm playing it. So I went for the vintage style Dunlop strap locks, just like I saw on Kurt's VMA Strat. And another detail I added in for fun is the white strap that I've paired this guitar with is actually one I bought back in 2011 when I went to Aberdeen, Washington, and I went to Rosevere's Music. That's the store where Kurt and Chris took their guitar lessons at. So in conclusion, I really love this guitar. This and my VMA Strat behind me, these two Japanese Strats, I swear they have changed me. For years and years, I was all about my offsets, about the Jaguar, the Mustang, and the Jagstangs. I would have told you offsets were my favorite guitars. But I can admit now that I'm a Stratocaster guy, and it's thanks to these two Japanese Strats. The thing that really pushed me over the edge are the single coils on them. Like, I've always loved the Tex-Mex and the Texas Special, but actual 90s ceramic Japanese single coils just sound so good. Like, they're the best clean tones I've ever played with. Trust me, I do jam a lot of Nirvana on these guitars, but probably 50% of the time, I pick them up to go to like the neck pickup and to just play clean. The clean sounds so good on these two. And the neck too is just something else. I've had so many Partcasters and so many made in Mexico Strat necks that I thought I loved. To me, that was like, wow, this is a Stratocaster neck. It feels so good. But these are in a different league, these Japanese Strat necks. They're thinner and they feel smoother and they remind me of my Mustang necks. Like, this just feels so comfortable to play. There's even a quote from Kurt where he says he prefers Japanese Strats to American Strats because they have smaller frets. And I can see that. Like I said, this doesn't feel that much off from my Mustangs, which are short scale. And the 90s 59N is of course just brilliant. It's nailing all the Vandalism Strat tones. The JB is my favorite pickup by far, but the 59 would be in a close second place. I've got the 59N here and the 59 Bridge in my K Strat, and I just love how these two guitars sound. If I had to rank my guitars after getting these two Japanese Strats, my top three would probably be Skysting at number 1. That one's never budging. But I think I'd put the Vandalism Strat at number 2 and the VMA Strat at 3. They're just that good. Like, I never thought I'd put a guitar other than my Skysting over my Jaguar, but these two, in my opinion, have beat them. I'm a Strat guy now through and through. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new about Kurt's most famous Stratocaster. The next history video you can expect is the Tom Strat history video. That's what I'm working on next. But please continue to let me know which other guitars you want to see this style video for. Extra special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting me over there. If you're interested in seeing early and exclusive content I won't be posting anywhere else, check out my Patreon. It'll be linked here and in the video description. Follow me on Instagram at Nirvana Guitars. Check out my other Nirvana gear videos right here on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next one.